Yo, what's up everybody? It's Cassie, and we're about to dive deep into something that affects every single one of us who's ever stepped foot on a plane airplane seats. We've all been there, the good, the bad, and the cramped middle seat of misery. But fear no more, because today, we're breaking down the science, the strategy, and the straight-up hacks to picking the absolute best seat on the plane. We're talking window versus aisle, bulkhead versus exit row, and everything in between. I'm talking about the insider secrets, the things they don't tell you on those airline websites. We'll expose the worst seats in the house, the ones you need to dodge like a screaming toddler, and the hidden gems that will have you flying high, literally. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, because this is your first-class ticket to navigating the wild world of airplane seating. Alright, let's kick things off with the classic window seat. We've all been mesmerized by that view. The clouds like cotton candy, the cities like miniature models. It's your own personal IMAX screen, 30,000 feet in the air. Plus, the window acts as a built-in pillow for those power naps. And let's be real, for the germaphobes out there, the window seat is your sanctuary. No accidental elbow rubs from strangers, no awkward aisle chit-chat. But here's the catch. The window seat comes with its own set of challenges. Remember that feeling when you gotta go, but you're blocked in by two sleeping giants? It's like trying to navigate a maze in the dark, whispering, "Excuse me," hoping they'll hear you over the roar of the engine. And speaking of roars, let's talk about the temperature. You ever notice how the window seat is always either an Arctic tundra or a sauna? One minute you're reaching for your jacket, the next you're sweating through your shirt. And don't even get me started on the Great Escape. You know, when the seatbelt sign finally dings off and you're ready to bolt, but you're stuck waiting for your rowmates to gather their belongings at a glacial pace. It's enough to make you miss your connecting flight. Next up, we've got the aisle seat. Now, the aisle seat is all about that legroom liberty. You can stretch, you can sprawl, you can practically do yoga if you're feeling ambitious. And bathroom breaks? You're the king or queen of convenience. No awkward shuffles, no pleading whispers, just pure, unrestricted freedom. And let's not forget about emergency exit efficiency. In the unlikely event of an evacuation, you're the first one out, leading the pack like a boss. Plus, let's be real, the aisle seat is prime real estate for getting work done. You've got the space, the light, and you can actually open your laptop without feeling like you're invading someone's personal space. But hold on, because the aisle seat has a dark side too. Prepare yourself for the bump and grind. You know, the constant parade of people brushing past you, the beverage cart collisions, the rogue elbows to the ribs. It's like living in a pinball machine. And good luck catching those Z's. The aisle seat is like a highway rest stop for every passerby, flight attendants, fellow passengers, even the occasional lost child. And let's talk about germs. The aisle seat is ground zero for every cough, sneeze, and wayward handrail touch. So yeah, maybe pack that hand sanitizer. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the dreaded middle seat, the Bermuda Triangle of air travel, the place where dreams of a comfortable flight go to die. Let's be honest, the middle seat is the punishment you get for not booking your flight early enough. You're sandwiched between two strangers, engaged in a constant battle for armrest dominance. And the claustrophobia is real, people. You're trapped in a human cocoon, breathing recycled air, longing for the sweet release of a layover. And then there's the excuse me echo. You know, when you're the middleman in the bathroom break relay, you're constantly getting up, sitting down, getting up again. It's like a bizarre form of in-flight exercise. But wait, there's a glimmer of hope on the horizon. Enter United Airlines Wilma boarding process. Wilma, United Airlines just changed the game. Okay, so United Airlines just threw a curveball into the whole airplane seating game with this Wilma thing. Wilma stands for window, middle, aisle, and it's their new boarding process. Basically, they flipped the script. Instead of boarding by rows, they board by window seats first, then middle, then aisle. This means if you're stuck in the middle seat or even the window, you're guaranteed overhead bin space. No more gate checking your carry-on because some aisle seater decided to bring their entire luggage collection. This is a game changer, people. Of course, it's not perfect. You still have to navigate the whole excuse me dance if you need to use the restroom. But hey, at least you won't have to worry about your bag ending up in Cleveland when you're headed to Miami. Beyond the row, front, middle, or back. Alright, so we've covered the battle of the rows, but what about the bigger picture? Where should you sit on the plane itself? The front, the middle, or the back? Let's start with the front. You're closer to the action. First off the plane, first in line for immigration, first to get that lukewarm airplane meal. Plus, it's generally quieter and less chaotic up front. And statistically speaking, you're in a slightly safer zone in case of an emergency. But there's always a but, right? The front rows are prime real estate for families with babies. So, if you're sensitive to crying, you might want to steer clear. Now, the middle of the plane is kind of the Goldilocks zone. Not too hot, not too cold. You're not too far from the exits, the bathrooms are usually nearby, and you're less likely to be stuck in a traffic jam during boarding and deplaning. The back of the plane? Well, it's a gamble. On the one hand, you might score an empty row all to yourself. But on the other hand, the back is usually the bumpiest ride, and you're closer to the engines, which means more noise. Plus, there's a good chance you'll be stuck waiting an eternity to get off the plane. The worst seats on the plane. Avoid at all costs. Now, let's talk about the seats you want to avoid like the plague. These are the seats that will have you praying for a delay. First up, the back row. These seats are the worst of the worst. They usually don't recline. You're right next to the bathrooms, and you're guaranteed to be bombarded with the sounds of flushing toilets and crying babies. Next, avoid the seats in front of the exit row like the plague. These seats might seem like a good idea at first, extra legroom, right? But here's the catch. They often don't recline, and you're constantly getting bumped by people trying to squeeze past you to get to the emergency exit. And then there are the wild card seats, the ones with defects. Maybe the tray table is broken, or the entertainment system doesn't work, or the seat won't recline. This is where Seat Guru comes in. It's a lifesaver, people. Download the app, enter your flight information, and it will show you the best and worst seats on your specific plane. Bulkhead and exit row. Legroom versus responsibility. All right, let's talk about two special categories of seats, the bulkhead and the exit row. Now, the bulkhead seats, the ones right behind the walls or partitions, are all about that extra legroom. No one reclining into your space, no fighting for foot space. But here's the thing, bulkhead seats often have flimsy tray tables that fold out from the armrest, and you might not have any under-seat storage. Plus, they're often the go-to for families with babies, so be prepared for some potential crying concerts. Now, the exit row, these are the holy grail of airplane seats. Legroom for days, no one reclining into you, and you get to feel like a hero if there's an emergency. But with great power comes great responsibility. You're the one who's supposed to open that heavy exit door and help your fellow passengers evacuate. Plus, exit row seats often come with an extra fee, and they can be chilly since they're right next to the doors. Pro tip: the center seat sweet spot. All right, folks, time for a pro tip that might just change your life, or at least your next flight. If you're flying on a larger plane, one with a center section of 3 or 4 seats, listen up. Instead of battling it out for a window or aisle, consider this, the center aisle seat. Now, I know what you're thinking. Casey, are you crazy? But hear me out. If you choose the center aisle seat in a row of 3 or 4, you're guaranteed to have at least one armrest all to yourself. And if you're lucky, you might even score an empty seat next to you. Plus, you're only 1 seat away from the aisle, so bathroom breaks and deplaning are a breeze. So there you have it, folks, the ultimate guide to airplane seats. Now you're armed with the knowledge, the strategy, and the pro tips to conquer that next flight. Remember, every seat has its pros and cons, but with a little planning and a lot of luck, you can find your own little slice of airplane heaven. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What are your craziest airplane seat stories? Ever scored an entire row to yourself? Or maybe you got stuck in the middle seat from hell? Share your experiences in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more travel tips, hacks, and adventures. Until next time, safe travels.